Hey everybody, how's it going? If you're new here, welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the NUBWO G06 Pro wireless headset and docking station. Now I do have the original G06 headset that you've been seeing in all my videos, but today we'll be looking at the new Pro variant that does have a docking station that can charge a PS5. That's kind of what it's branded towards. If they're going to be coming out with some other ones, it's still to be determined. But today it is going to be officially the PS5 version with the charging docking station. So let's sit back, relax, and let's go ahead and dive in and see what we get and see what's in the package. All right, and here we go. The NUBWO G06P or Pro version wireless headset with docking station for PS5. Right here on the side, we do have the barcode here if you want to scan to go straight to Amazon. The back of the unit here has the literal back of the unit and what it shows for pairing and the devices that it can connect to in which mode. And then here on the other side, we do have the support email, 24/7, your warranty, replacement, and the driver update if you need it, which is for a PS5 patch for it. But before we get too deep into it, we got to talk about the tech specs, of course. We got to go through all the details and all the goodies that it comes with, so let's dive in. Some of those specs include a lithium-ion battery, which has 1200 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts, up to 120 hours at 70% volume, which means you could probably get more if you lowered that. Approximately 6 hours to charge, but that is a little bit dependent because there is more to that. We do have 4 hours for the headset by itself to charge on the dock, no controller. 5 hours, give or take, with USB-C directly into the headset, or 6 hours on the dock with a controller charging, so it can vary a little bit there. Standby time is about 200 hours. Again, USB-C. Frequency response rate on the speakers is 20 to 20,000, which is pretty standard. Sensitivity is 94, give or take 3 decibels and 1 kilohertz. Microphone sensitivity is minus 38 plus or minus 3 decibels, 1,000 kilohertz. Corduroy. And then the range for the wireless and give or take the Bluetooth is about 10 meters. And that's kind of line of sight. I mean, we start introducing walls, that might go down a little bit, but that is a thing to make a note of. The speakers themselves, along with that, will be 32 ohms. It does have the microphone itself that can be adjusted up to 120 degrees. It does have ENC, but it kind of depends. I mean, it's pretty decent. You don't really hear a whole lot on the outside of that, but it is there. And of course, just to round out the speakers is 20 millimeter dynamic drivers. It does support for PS5, PS4, PC, Mac, mobile, and Xbox, but only in the wired version. Now, something that I did want to note that I did run into and they are aware of, so if you do find this, you just be aware. Sometimes the unit can come in Bluetooth mode out of the box. It's supposed to be in 2.4, but if you guys plug in your USB dongle and it doesn't connect, just keep in mind, change the mode and it may go into the 2.4 and then connect. I actually had one of those units, so that's super great that I get to tell you guys that, but just be aware, there also is a video supposed to be added to Amazon and for the tutorial, so if you do run into that, just make sure it's not broken. It could just be in Bluetooth mode. But with that being said, if you guys are enjoying all this lovely information, just feel free to drop a subscribe down below and a like if you don't mind. We do huge in-depths on these things and correspond with the manufacturers to make sure that we get everything covered. Had a lot of correspondence on this one, so feel free to drop it down below if you have any questions. Also, and like it and subscribe. But back to the main unboxing. Let's get into it. All right, so let's get this thing opened up. We can see a huge piece of plastic, which this headset and stand, everything's all here inside this plastic right off the rip, which I love. Got a nice plastic cover with everything already on, including it on the dock, just like you see in the pictures, and on the box. Everything, it has a little bit of wrapping on the headset itself. We're just going to slowly and gently pull everything out. And it does hold on with a magnet. And we got a little gift on the bottom. Got our manual and all the extra goodies. Go ahead and get this stuff out of the way. And let's go ahead and check out the goodie bag. We do have the USB dongle. We have some cables, a dual 3.5 millimeter, and a charge cable. But before we open that, Go ahead and check out this headset. Look at this beautiful white and black contrasting. Got the NUBWO logo here on the side. Everything is kind of mesh as far as the ear cups and the top goes, so super comfy. We've got a nice ratcheting headpiece, and right on the bottom we have the gold contacts and the little notch, which gets locked in. It is supposed to have kind of a safety mechanism that while it's charging, it will detach for that, and so once it's done charging, it will not continue to charge. But we'll go ahead and get these things out of the bag. Get all the extra goodies. So this will be your USB-A to USB-C cable. Would love to have seen a little adapter for a USB-C to USB-C plus a little USB-A head, but that's okay. Then we got a fancy, nice, the gold-plated looking 3.5 millimeter cable, and that's going to be for your Xbox mainly or anything else wired. Got the same USB dongle as the regular G06. And right here on the back, we do have the model and, of course, the made in China. And then we do have the manual, which double the points for them because look at that. Not really. It looked like a booklet, but that's the thing is it's not. So right here, they almost had the points. We do have everything that comes in the package. We have the information on the docking station itself, the charging lights, the indicators, everything with it, what every button does, how to power it on. This is for your wireless mode and how to turn everything on. This is for charging. You have the USB-C or the docking station. Has some information as far as that goes. Feel free to pause if I'm going too quickly. This is for documentation. How to use it with a PC/Mac for wireless mode and what you need to change your computer to. I always love to see the screenshots, so it makes it a whole lot easier. You have the PS4, PS5 controller, which you can also use the 3.5 millimeter or the wireless dongle. We have some of those specifications we talked about here. And then key features, how to use, and this is some troubleshooting here. I use this a whole lot while trying to figure out the Bluetooth mode. And then, again, some other maintenance and cleaning and how to keep things fresh. We have their socials, some QR codes, and the website and support email. So if you need any assistance there, and then we go into the different languages after here. But it was so close. This is always a thing for me. I love it. It does fold down nicely. I got to give it to it. It's okay. It's fine. It folds down to look like a booklet. But I wish I could have given the points for the booklet with a staple and I could flip pages, but it's not a super huge roadmap, so it's fine. And right here, we're going to go ahead and look and see all these buttons. We have the volume knob, everything on it for the charging. But, of course, we're here. This is the Pro model. The docking station's kind of what you're looking to see as well. We have the 5-volt, 2-amp right here on the back. And, again, that can be split depending on what you're charging. We have the little housing unit here. So if you're using the wired version, you can make sure you don't lose the wireless dongle. It fits in pretty snug. It takes a little bit to get out, so you're not going to really lose that. But you put the headset here on the side. You can see the gold pins. And, of course, it does, again, magnetically click in. Right here for the controller, which I would love to have been able to show you, but I don't have a PS5. And I don't have anyone that I really know with a PS5, so imagination here. But right here on the front, you don't have to imagine. Here's where you see the LEDs right here for the headset and the controller. There's a little bit of RGB action here on the bottom, which we'll see here in just a bit. The headset itself does click in really nicely, and it stays up. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and check out what these sound like. And we're going to go ahead and see what the mic sounds like. We're going to see how everything compares. We're going to go ahead and slide over to the mic first, and we're going to hear how it sounds. And then we're going to switch over to hearing how it sounds, which then we'll check out the ear cups, test everything, and see how that goes. So stay tuned. Let's go ahead and do the mic test. All right, so we're going to do the mic test here. We're going to go ahead and see just how everything sounds with the mic versus in comparison. This will be my Mayano PD400X right here, which you've been hearing this entire video with. So now let's go ahead and switch over to the mic, unedited, fully straight through, straight into it. And then we'll check out the Still Series after that.
All right, now this is going to be straight through to the mic. This is nothing done to it. This is raw. It's not terrible. I mean, you got to still think it is still a headset mic. Your communication will go through. Will it be super crispy and thuddy and everything that you would love for in a professional mic? No. But if you're just playing some games with your friends, hopping in a chat, it's still clear, it still sounds great, but you will lose a lot of that low end. But now we're going to go ahead and run it through SteelSeries, and let's see if we can bring some of that back. Okay, now this is going to be with SteelSeries sonar running through the native mic. It brings back quite a bit. It doesn't sound as tin canny, so you can use some stuff. Use something like voice meter or anything like that. You might be able to get a very similar result, but you do have to add a little bit back because you are losing quite a bit on the mic. But with all this out of the way, sounds really good. Now let's go ahead and see how everything's going to be looking as far as everything sounds with the headset. We're going to run this through the ears, and you'll see what those look like here in just a second. We're going to do a recording test to see how it sounds coming out of the speakers versus the DT990s as our reference headphones. And then we're going to go ahead and see the frequency response rate, which will give us a good look at how the speakers are producing sound and what actual range it has. It's 20 to 20,000, but we'll check that out.
All right, so now that we've heard how everything sounds and we have heard how everything is going to come out of the speakers, we got to talk about a little bit about these graphs. So we're going to have the graphs appearing on screen. I'm going to go ahead and go into the background, and let's go ahead and chat about this. So when it comes to the graphs, it's a little different. So you're going to see where NUBWO itself has a little bit higher on the low end. We do have it starting around the 80s mark and kind of curves up and then has a little bit of a dip and then goes up into the low-ish mids, right? And then it goes down, kind of somewhat evens out mid-range, drops a little bit right where the dip's supposed to actually go up, about 5,000. So it's kind of going the opposite direction, just a little bit, curves up into the high end. So as we heard in the test with the audio, we do have a little bit more bumpy bass when it comes to the NUBWO headset, which it's not too bassy, but it's going to be a little bit more than what you would think for like a balanced pair of headphones when it comes to like the DT990s and what those can do. As we can see with that, it's a little bit harsher drop off on the low ends, but it's supposed to be balanced and you're supposed to have a good range of everything. So this one, you may have to worry about the bass depending on the game or what you're listening to. You may have to adjust the bass a little bit if you don't want too much, but overall, I think it's a solid bass as far as what it's supposed to be for, because gaming, every gaming headset will have extra bass. Some do it better than others, and I think this one's a good sweet spot for it. But everything on the graph, it lands pretty solidly on the rough estimate of what the curve is supposed to be, at least for this testing. And so it's not too bad. It's definitely a lot better than some we've tested in the past, and I've been using these for years as far as the regular version goes. And if we have any interest on that, we'll do a comparison against the regular and the pros to see what may have changed as far as production goes. But I think they've been some of the most balanced headphones that I've had. And so if there's a need for that, we will do a comparison for that. But what we will do is double check the weight. They do say it's about 2 pounds on the shipping. seems to be a bit of an overestimation because it actually comes in a whole lot less than that, which we'll go ahead and check out the weight here now. And let's go ahead and see what that comes out to be, because we're going to go and get this turned on here. And we're going to put just the base itself, which is 352.7. Throwing the headset on there makes it 676 on the dot. Now, I don't put the cables on here, but it has everything, including the dongle in the back, which is, again, not too bad. But it says it's about 2.3 pounds as far as Amazon's what it's shipping. So I think it's actually coming in a little bit higher than what you would expect, but it's totally not bad as far as the weight goes with everything. But the headset itself, give or take, about 300 grams. So it's not bad. It sits really nicely. But let's go ahead and check out the sound meter, which we're going to check and see what all these buttons sound like, clicky-wise, and what the actual ratcheting for the band sounds like as well. And we're going to go ahead and get this out. We do have some motion on the ear cups, which is virtually nothing. These are super quiet. As far as the clickiness goes, we are going up into the low 60s, so it is a little clickety-clack. The actual arm for the mic is virtually nothing compared to my room sound. Buttons, not too bad. I mean, it's sitting about high 40s, low 50s, depending on how close I am to it. And as far as the base goes, for locking it in, we're going to drop it in, let it click, and that's about 56. Magnets do have a little bit of a clack to it, but as we can see, it's not too bad. It's not super quiet. You will hear the clicks, the clacks, and the buttons, but it is really mild. It's not like some headsets and things we've seen, which are in the 60s and closer to 70s, which is really loud. You know you click them, but it's really loud. But overall, honestly, I like the Pro model. I've had the regular model. Might be a little biased here. For a long time for the regular one. Been using the G06 for probably 7 years now. This is my second one that I've had. I had the original one, then there was this mid-tier upgrade, and then now we have the Pro upgrade. And honestly, the docking station is premier, and especially if it does do the locking, especially once it's fully charged and stops charging, that's incredible, and will be great for battery life of this thing for years to come. I would love to see maybe some different model variants for maybe an Xbox charge, which might be a little hard considering those don't really have internal batteries. Some do, but some don't. So I don't know if that's going to be possible, but I would love to see one of these, maybe just with a controller stand that doesn't necessarily charge. But also I'd love to see one with maybe no controller and just have just the straight up dock. Maybe a wireless charger could be put into place for your phone. That would be cool, NUBWO. That would be a great idea. But so far, I love it. I'm a little bit biased since I've used them for years, a bit of an underdog. I haven't really mentioned them much in my videos, but they tend to be the one that I just keep using and going back to. And so we'll see how these appear going forward and how I use them in the daily life, because that 120 hours of wireless is huge. When you're looking at wireless headsets, battery life is king. And I swear to you, I don't know any other brands or headsets that come close to this hours at this price range. Right now, you can pick them up about $50 on Amazon. Regular price is about $70, so if you get them on some good sales, it's not too bad. It just all depends. But if you can pick these up, these are under $100, and 120 hours is killer. If you use them at 50% battery, you can probably get longer. And the fact that you just drop it on a dock and let it charge, and it'll automatically disconnect once it's fully charged. Incredible. Guys, links will be down for it and down in the description. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you have anything at all, and if you made it this far, you are the literal best if you're hearing me say this. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. And let's go ahead and continue on this journey. We're walking our way through, trying to get to that partnership. So let's have a good time, and let's do this. You guys have a good night or a good morning, depending where you guys are watching this right now. And I'll see you on the next one.